holding this press conference to call on our elected officials and the New York State DEC to protect our drinking water supply from toxic pesticides. Currently, unfortunately, we have a plan which allows for the poisoning of our water supply. And what we need is a plan that protects our drinking water supply. And the bottom line is that we have documented 123 toxic pesticides currently in our drinking water supply. And that's 123 too many. We're calling on the DEC to ban certain toxic pesticides, which we're going to talk about in a moment, and to call for a zero tolerance, which means no more pesticides in our drinking water supply.
Currently, there are 13,264 pesticide products registered in New York State, 339 of which are already strictly prohibited from any use in Nassau and Suffolk counties. It is also increasingly alarming how frequent multiple pesticides are found in a well. There is no clear science on how multiple chemicals or chemical cocktails interact and affect our health and our environment. The DEC is mandated to protect drinking water, to protect public health, and to protect the environment. With 123 pesticides detected in drinking water and 40% of the wells detecting more than one pesticide, something needs to change.
All right, what are we calling for? We're calling for banning the top 3 worst toxic offenders, as we're calling them. They are imidacloprid, metalaxyl, and also atrazine. Those 3 chemicals have been found most frequently throughout Long Island's drinking water supply. Imidacloprid is a pesticide, kills insects. It has been found 890 times. 890 times in Long Island drinking water supplies. It is very soluble in water, it is linked to liver and kidney damage, and it's toxic to birds. We don't belong drinking it. It needs to be banned. Let's talk about atrazine, shall we? Atrazine is a weed killer. Atrazine is listed as a possible human carcinogen. It's also been linked very closely with low birth weights and birth defects. Metalaxyl. Metalaxyl is the most commonly found fungicide or pesticide in Long Island's water supply. 1,327 times it has been found. It's poisonous or toxic to fish and crustaceans, and it is used abundantly throughout Long Island in both Nassau and Suffolk counties. This is not acceptable. As I said earlier, we need the DEC to replace the current plan of allowing our aquifer system to be poisoned with a plan that will mandate our aquifer be protected. That's the goal.
And today on Eastern Long Island, we have a couple of factors that make this extremely important to us. One is, over the last 15 years, the east end of Long Island has experienced one of the greatest percentages of growth anywhere on Long Island. We have the largest percentage of private drinking water wells anywhere left on Long Island. And regrettably, we also have many of the areas that are most contaminated with pesticides. And those 3 things cannot go hand in hand and have a sustainable future. So we're joining with our colleagues here today to call for the ban of these products in the same way that we called for the ban of Temic all those many years ago. If we are to balance the future of Eastern Long Island, preserving our environment, preserving our agricultural economy, those things have to go hand in hand, and one cannot exclude the other.
Thank you.
Wetlands and seagrasses are disappearing at rates similar to coral reefs and tropical rainforests. There are 2 primary reasons for the decline: coastal development and declining water quality. It's well known that surface water can wash pollutants such as pesticides into our coastal waters. Groundwater discharge is also a significant source of freshwater input into coastal marine and estuarine systems. The effects of past and present land use practices may take decades to become apparent in our groundwater, as is the case with many of these pesticides. We are seeing the effects now of years of pesticide application, which will be further compounded by continued application. The impact of this is impaired growth and declines in reproduction and declines in fishing stock. Here on Long Island, we have a multi-million-dollar fishing and shellfishing industry, as well as a recreational tourism industry based upon the health and the beauty of our coastal waters. Sailors and boaters contribute millions to our economy. The harmful impacts of pesticides on the health of our estuaries and wetlands is well documented. We cannot afford to ignore or minimize the importance of healthy marine ecosystems on the regional economy, just as we must act to protect the water supply for human health.
out of sight cannot be out of mind, and we need to do a mess of things about it right away. We need to consider land use, how much more development we're going to do and where. But there's no more direct thing that we can do that will have greater results than preventing the most serious pesticides from directly entering our drinking water. And that's what Citizens Campaign, the group for the East End, and Friends of the Bay have set out to do.
In addition to banning the top 3 most frequently tested toxic pesticides, we're also calling on the DEC to apply what's called a zero tolerance. That means no more pesticide detections in our drinking water. We have 123. That's 123 too many. It is time for the people of Long Island to say stop poisoning and dumping in my drinking water system and offer the protection that is needed and wanted by the public. The public wants clean water. They deserve clean water. And that is the legacy. That is the main legacy we can leave for the future.